Alrighty, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hairymuppet. Welcome back to Factorio, and I have spent the last half an hour sitting at this game shepherding this coal dispersal mining operation thing. And yeah, it has seriously been half an hour of just me sitting here, building up mines, doing little things. I've put this little setup down. It's a Mark IV large area mining drill with 4 speed modules on it, and I put it into a little active provider chest. And I've just been picking those guys up and putting them down and moving them around and getting them wherever they're needed. And we are pretty much done. So we zoom out, we've got, 7.4k there and 90 over there. Because apparently they keep splitting off into little miniature coal patches. But yes, we've gone down from, started at like 800k and now we are into the last 10k. And that's awesome. I've also spent a lot of time today watching Fortress Craft from Flexible Games, and it's starting to look really awesome. I love the way he does like the coal at the same level as the ground, or under the level of the ground, and then passes it around to do power everywhere and does all the actual processing above ground. So I tried to do, well, I didn't really try to do the same. I just kind of snaked everything around on the same level and ended up going above, and my base just looks atrocious. So I need to start doing it with a bit more finesse, but finesse is... I can do a bit of finesse in Factorio, but with Fortress Craft, I'm too much of a noob to know how to do finesse, so it's just going to have to be how it is. And my god, we are so close. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This guy is gone. These guys are still got a fair amount there, so let's do this there, and then this there. That'll speed that up a little bit. You guys are all done. Excellent. I want to make sure that we don't deconstruct the things, because then all of that crap will end up in my inventory, which is not what I want. I want the actual bots picking it up. And yeah, with these guys mining so much, I feel like we got almost 600k coal, and only 160k of that is in here. So we've got 400 in other places as well, which is absolutely massive. So I would say all up, in terms of all of those warehouses, we're probably looking at easily over 1 million coal. So that is a lot of coal, but we're probably going to end up with similar sort of things for copper. Although with copper, yes, you are all active. So yes, copper is 150k at the moment, but I'm sure that will skyrocket. I mean, we got 11 million coming out there, inactive providers. So yeah, 11 million coming out into active providers. Maybe it's a good thing that we're not actually speeding this up. And there we go. That is done. All of the coal is finally gone. We can destroy all of these guys. We can get rid of all of these chests. Come on, guys. Finish emptying out the chest for me like good robots. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. And then we can finally start actually doing proper smelting in this area. And don't have to worry anymore about this sort of stuff. Now, what I'm going to do here is this area, I feel like we need something here, and this area as well. So what we're going to do is active. We want these guys to be active providers. That seems like a bit of overkill, making these active providers, but we really do want to get them out of the way. And storage area might be a problem at some point in the base. Luckily for us, the storage size of the storage warehouses are 2,000, whereas these guys are only 800, and I believe the normal warehouses are only 800 as well. So let's grab 5 more of these guys. And where's our storage area? So this is the bus area. Our storage area is kind of here. And we can afford to keep putting it here because this is next to the mall, and the mall is kind of, don't really need it for too much. So let's do that, and then we can do one more just to keep it nice and even. Damn, that takes a lot of materials. So there we go. 84k coal in there, 37k coal in there. So that's another 100. God knows there's got to be a ton of coal. It's just everywhere at this point. Absolutely everywhere. I actually don't know where the rest of it would be. Maybe up here. It's got 131. Who knows where all of that coal is? It's somewhere. These are just warehouses, so I can't be putting it in there. But yeah, it is just here, there, and everywhere. But that's not our problem anymore. where the freaking coal is. Our problem is getting these guys emptied out. How much you got? You've been emptied out quite fast, or maybe you didn't have that much because you're down to 50k. This one's still at pretty much max. We've got almost up to 3,000 logistics robots in the system. And that is a little bit scary, but you know what? That's also fine. That's also fine. So, what are we doing here? What's our play for this episode? So, I want to do nickel and zinc. I feel like we should start processing nickel and zinc. Just so we have them. So nickel plate is oxygen. We're going to do that right here. And we're going to need this exact setup that we had for carbon because we're going to need pipes. So let's do that. We'll just have to... If that warehouse being emptied becomes too annoying, then maybe we can just remove it. Because that is taking a while, so let's pick that up. We can actually store 45k in our inventory, which it's pretty impressive. If I say so myself, that is a lot, but it's impressive. Boom. Go on. Control click, there we go. There it all goes. We'll get rid of some of that, we'll get rid of some of that. Look at all of this random crap I got in my inventory. I go get a big inventory, and then suddenly I've just got crap loads of everything in there. Absolutely everything. Let's clean it up a little bit, but not that much. Alright, so we need some of these guys. We're missing 3, apparently. I got the rest from storage. So let's build a bunch of those. And this is going to be oxygen, isn't it? Do we want a special area to produce the oxygen? Do we want to do something fancy like building it somewhere else and then barreling it in? What's the procedure for building it using water? Because we might be able to squeeze that in really, really easily. Okay. Pure water requires a red thing. So, water electrolysis comes out with red. We can get a vent. That's what we want, gas venting pump. For that guy. Oh, and then we need a water well pump. I feel like we can do that here and then just pipe that across. And we're not impinging on this area too much, so that's beautiful. Where's my thing? So you need to go on that side, and we need to shift it all over a little bit. So, did I make that mistake again? No, that one's fine. That one-ish fine. And we'll do the same over here, and then we've got room for the thing to go down. And we just need to get this warehouse out of the way so we can do the corner here properly. Oh, yes, okay. Alrighty. You need a thing, don't you? Pure. We need to pure water this stuff, don't we? That's another step. I forgot that step. Pure water needs to be in a thing, doesn't it? Can we squeeze this in here? I feel like we can. We'll impinge a bit on the belt, but I feel like we're not quite at the stage where... You know what? Put it like that. Direct input. Direct input. And now you guys can go like that, and then you're joined from either side, so that's fine. Pure water out of water. And there we go. Now we've got oxygen coming all the way down the line. You are supposed to be building nickel. Where's me nickel gone? Please tell me I have the correct recipe. I was sure this was the one for nickel. No, it's the bloody red thing. The red thing which I've just been placing down. Whoops. Oh well, this setup will still work. We could technically have used a thinner setup because we're using these nicer red things, but it's fine. Now this, the big one is going to be 3.5. No, we haven't done the ratio for nickel anyway, so this is takes 3.5. So we're not kind of quite going to get a full belt of nickel out of this because it's 3.5 and the other thing and blah, blah, blah. But I'm not sure I care because this is not something we need on the bus necessarily, so not sure I care. Okay. Now, nickel. Do me some nickel. At least when you run up and down, you hold the shift key, it still gets every one of them. So, alright, so you just need to be nickel ore. How are you still... Oh, this is the next one. We don't care about the next one too much. So what do we got here? Oh, we do. We do care about this one. Delete all of you. Go over to here. It's like getting the bots to do most of the work and then stepping in at the end and saying, hey, look at this. I can do all of that work really easily. Way faster than you guys can. Still had like 3k pickup orders in there, even though it was pretty much finished. So, we are going to need... So this is lead, the one that I've selected right now. And yeah, let's just give it a space. Not sure we really need a space. Maybe spaces are actually a bad idea because it's just wasting that space. So nickel is here, isn't it? Alright. So we got a single belt of nickel. Come on, base bots are going to do that eventually. Thank you, Mr. Autosave. And get that stuff done. So this is going to be nickel. That'll send that down there, and then we'll get nickel plate. And what else does this produce? This nickel plate produces that, whatever that is. I feel like we can use that. Sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide can be made into sulfuric acid. Okay, so that's good. What that means is we are going to redo this guy. Because we can reuse that sulfur dioxide for zinc. Because we need zinc right next door, don't we? We need sulfuric acid right next door. So I feel like this is a perfect opportunity. So that goes like that. And since we got the good machines, we can actually do what we want here. We can do what we want. Have to drag that belt up all the way to the top, which looks a bit funky, but I guess I'm okay with it because we get this sort of stuff coming at the end. Whoa. Oh yes, of course. We got 15 machines on each side, so that's going to make this a little bit interesting. We're going to have to move this guy down a bit just so we can fit that in, but I feel like that's not the end of the world. So now we can get rid of that, do that, and that no longer needs to be there, and iron pipe. I just made a whole bunch of iron pipe. There it goes, it's all gone. I guess those now this is a bit of a squishy situation, to be honest. So what we might do is we might feed this back out here. Feed this back out here. Want to kind and take up. Want to take up as little room as possible if I can avoid it. Need to zoom out a bit. Okay, so you go out like that, you go out like that, and you both go in like that. And then we fill up the sulfur dioxide. And what we're going to do is we're going to start barreling this stuff up. We're going to start barreling everything, absolutely everything. And of course, doing this, we do get into the situation of having dual dependencies, which is not the best, to be honest, and maybe should be avoided to some degree, but sulfuric acid is such a pain in the ass, and taking the responsibility of creating the damn stuff away from petrol will be pretty awesome. Where's my barrels? I know I got barrels somewhere. It's hiding. Bob's Logistics. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I can't find them. Here we go. Bob's Fluids. Pure water, sulfuric acid and nitrous, tungsten, sulfuric acid. Is there nothing? Oh, here it is, sulfur dioxide. Gas bottle. Requires a thing. Okay, so we need a thing. We need one of these special things. And these ones have different speeds to them. Bronze pipe. We probably don't have any bronze, do we? We've probably used it all up. It'd be nice if we did have some. All we've got left is the 200 in here. And you know what? If I go far enough along the belt, we will find some. There we go. So there we go. So now we can make the Mark III ones. I don't know why I need the Mark III ones. I just feel like it's a good idea. It's like really, really is. Ooh, where's my Mark III ones gone? Haven't built any yet. There we go. Just about to build some. There we go. Now you are of size this. Excellent. Yeah, I do remember this is a Bob's thing. Fill sulfur dioxide bottle. So we need gas bottles for that. You are going to give me a whole bunch of gas bottles. 200. And how do we make gas bottles, you may ask? Let's have a look. Let's have a look-see. I can't see them anywhere. Where do we actually make the damn things? Ah, here they are. Steel. So gas requires steel. So we're just going to do a little setup over here. I feel like having my own little area off where I make all the bottles and where I make all the barrels and stuff like that, because it's not something you necessarily need a lot of, but it is very, very important that you do have them in a very large supply for any sort of situation. But I'm fine with letting them slowly sort of bubble up over time. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to do this and we're going to do this, except you are going to be barrels and you are going to be, what's the other thing? There was another thing. Canisters. So you are no longer like that. Take all of those out. Thankfully the bots are fast enough that we don't have to wait forever for these guys to come in. Then we take that to be 1,000 and actually these can both be 500 because I feel like we need less materials. Although this is 1 for 1. This is 1 for 5. Man, okay, so our aim is basically to keep these passive provider chests full of, you know, the various containers. And I have had situations where I need more, like a ton of barrels and stuff like that, but I feel like this is fine. And we're not going to constrain this because dual system, so we want nickel to be running for as long as possible. And what we might actually change that to an active provider at some point, and then have it back up on nickel. And then we can have some sort of system where it always prefers to use these guys for sulfuric acid over petrol. And I feel like that's a good system to have. So it'll always use this over anything else. Now we just have to make sure that nickel doesn't get needlessly thrown away at any point, and we will be fine. Okay, so nickel. Nickel doesn't need to go on the bus. Nickel just needs to go into a particular thing. What do we really need nickel for? I feel like there was a purpose for us having nickel, and we really wanted it for something in particular. Was it Invar? I feel like it was Invar. So yes, maybe we'll push it up anyway, and then we can do Invar at some point up here. So you are carbon. So we'll push you all the way up to here. And what we will do is we will push it over here. And we will push it into a passive provider chest. How are you not in logistics network range? Oh my god. You are just... Whoa, that's not what we wanted. Where is this guy going? He's going up here. He's going across there. That's titanium. Hang on a second. Something is definitely not right here. What did we just do? No, that's fine. We haven't started making titanium yet. So that's fine. We're not overriding an existing belt that I've actually got doing stuff. We're just overriding something that doesn't really matter. So, there we go. Nickel, we don't want all of the nickel going in here. Like I said, we don't want to needlessly throw nickel away, because then we end up with too much of that sulfuric, whatever it's called. So, yeah. Rotate, rotate. And then we'll pull some of the nickel off at some point to make our Invar setup down here, which I feel will be a very good idea. And then Invar we can put in a provider chest to go somewhere. Okay, so this is keeping up. Wait, sulfur dioxide's going up 400, 450, 500. Are you not keeping up? 50, you can do 250. I feel like that's not running out fast enough. Like, we're actually being slowed by the throughput of this pipe, which is incredible. Really, really incredible. Maybe it's time to look at some new pipes, because this is a iron pipe. And it's the undergrounds which have the size calculations, but yeah, size is 10. What do we want? Let's get some plastic pipe in here. Okay. You are still going up, but not quite as fast. I feel like that's a little bit more controlled. A little bit better. Just a little bit better. It's not quite going over the top. Size 20. I guess we don't have any bigger pipes than that one. That should be fine, because the most we can pump this stuff out is 10 based on these pipes. And so if this is 20, then that means that we'll always stay approximately at 1k, because we can no longer produce it as fast as it can be used up by this pipe. I don't want to set up another one of these things. I just don't. It's just a pain in the ass. Oh my god. Okay. Ooh, what we could do, actually... I don't know if this will help, actually. We'd turn around like that. I was going to move this down so that it's directly connected to it. I'm not sure if that would fix it anyway. That's pretty fast, you know. I mean, we've only got one pipe instead of 3, so I feel like that's pretty fast. Look at you. Look at that. That's going down. So apparently only one pipe instead of 3 is really forcing that down. 560, 550, 540. That's doing a great job. Now, I don't feel like pipe throughput up here is going to be enough to really stop these guys from running. Although they're not getting quite as much of this stuff. Apparently, this single electrolyzer Mark II is not all that fast, which is a little bit concerning. What are you doing? You're doing about half of them. Just a third to a half currently. Okay. We can get you... No, we can't get you level 3s. That's not going to be happening anytime soon. So, to the old standby of speed modules. There we go. And that's getting about 2/3. Nickel is not critical, so nickel is not... It's fine. It's backing up anyway. Look at that. That's backed up. How is it not backed up yet? You know what? We're actually taking speed modules out of these things because they... I mean, in the long term, looking at the long term, they don't need to have speed modules. It was just this particular moment. So let's get Invar going. I feel like smelting zinc requires sulfuric acid. We're going to have to do some jumping and dancing to get sulfuric acid currently out of this thing and move it around and all that hoover jank. So let's just get Invar, because I feel like Invar will be pretty easy. And as I said, it's not needed for the bus, not needed for science, so we're not going to worry too much about filling a belt. We're just going to set up a list of things and we're just going to do it. So you need yellow, don't you? You need a combination. You need these things. The metal mixing. I've got 3 of them. So that's 27 more. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. Steel, and we'll put it right next to steel, because I can't think of a good reason why we shouldn't do that. It's a level 2 smelting array, because it needs things that are made from level 1. So this just makes so much sense. Okay, and we're going to have to do a combo line here. So just shove 2 things together. Which is fine. Get ye belts correct. Alrighty, so delete all of these because we want the special furnaces. Electric metal mixing, yes, thank you. And we just need a few more. So you guys are all going to be Invar. And it'll be nice to have Invar because I think there's quite a few level 2 things that I haven't been able to make for so long because they just need Invar. And I'm just like, well, Invar needs nickel, and nickel is not something I'm getting at the moment, so that's a pain in the ass. So yes, it'll be very nice to get that stuff going. And yep, you need iron and nickel. It needs an odd ratio, but as I said, we got blue belts coming down. We don't really care too much. Now, here's the thing, right? We're going to have a separate iron line. So we're not going to use any of these iron lines. We're going to have a separate iron line. So this is still going to be coming out of those things, the warehouses, but it's going to be separate. So what we might do, how do we do this? Okay, this is how we do this. So we do that, and then we feed this down to here. Now you are nickel, and then we're going to have zinc right next to it. Oof. Go. So it's iron. Iron goes down there. This is all beautiful. Then we just feed this down to there. Oh, that's not right. We need to make sure that they all line up. All line up perfectly. So now we've got nickel and iron side by side going down to Invar. Okay, so let's actually grab this line up here. And we're going to merge them up here. I feel like that's a good idea. Okay. And we are going to split the nickel off. There we go. So nickel and iron. We're not going to split the iron off because I don't think there's anything over here that we need it for. This is kind of the end of the line. We might split it off further up if we need it for any other combination things. But there we go. That is beautiful. Look at all of that Invar that is going to be made by these machines. And now we just got a single line of steel, don't we? So I don't think we need to mess around with too many things over here. Well, we do want to make sure they line up correctly though. So how do we do that? Like this. Sorry, I'm a little bit anal, but that's just how it is. So, you know, it's all good. I should probably be a bit more anal about this one as well. Okay, so you go up like this, and then we'll put it into a chest up there. Chesty McChest. Alrighty. Excellent. Look at all that Invar going up there. So, how are we in logistics range? We have been in logistics range for quite some time, actually, but this one might get blown away at some point. So let's not rely on that one being there. Let's do this. And let's put a passive provider over there. And now we're going to have as much Invar as we want, as well as nickel. And then what we need to do is we need to get zinc, and we need to get brass. And we need to get bronze, actually. Bronze and brass need to be down the bottom here. So that's going to require another copper smelter and another tin smelter for all of these special projects. And that's going to up our number of copper to 4, which puts us on the edge of needing another station, but not quite. Anyway, we're at the 32-minute mark. We got some more resources. We got Invar finally, which is good. It's good to have all of these exotic bobs, metals, just wherever we need them, just on the bus, or just in the logistics area anyway. Constraining that. We should probably constrain this as well. I don't know how much Invar we need, but I feel like 1,000 is more than enough. And yes. Have we got anything? Oh, these guys were using like brass or something like that, and they went for a little while. And we did manage to get a level 3 one out of here. What do you need? Yeah, titanium and insulated wire, which we've got tons of both of them. And it's basically just the brass, which managed to go. I don't think we get anything level 4 anywhere yet, but hopefully in a few episodes we should start to see a lot of level 3 things able to be produced in the mall. Tungsten. What the hell does tungsten need? Powdered tungsten. Oh, that's the actual ore. Tungsten oxide, tungstic acid. Because making things in just one process is just stupid. Why would you do that when you can have 17 different processes? Tungsten acid, hydrogen chloride, and it also produces what looks like a rice ball, but I'm assuming isn't a rice ball. It's got to be something else. Calcium chloride, which I think we need for something else. We need that for this, don't we? For silicon. That's what you make, isn't it? Calcium chloride. There we go. Need it for silicon. You aren't doing anything because you need stone. That's probably screwing us over for something, so maybe we should fix that before we finish this episode off. Fix up that stone. Although, where are we getting stone from anyway? Random places. Are you in the logistics network? You are. You are. Okay, so first of all, you're not necessary anymore. I think you're not necessary anyway. Because you're going up back there, but we're planning on actually doing stuff over here, which is interesting. Why am I doing that by hand? I do not know. Let's get rid of all these. And let's put that guy there, and let's put a passive chest, or a requested chest, sorry. And let's put a whole bunch of stone in there. I feel like 200 should be enough. And that will get silicon back on the bus, which I'm very happy about, because it's possible that that is actually holding up some things down the line, which might be useful, you know, might be nice to have. And there we go, there's the quartz as well. I think that's quartz. Yep, quartz. Looking a little bit shoddy, so that'll start to get used up as well. And our quartz is kind of cut off down here somewhere. These are getting provided. Yeah, they are getting provided. So these guys will continue to work, which is cool. We just needed a requester here to get this guy going. So this will continue to work. You no longer need to be a provider, don't you? What we need to do is we need to get rid of this belt and then make that a requester chest. Because we're no longer belting this crap up. We're just sending it over. And you are going to be quartz. I feel like 1,000 is probably enough. And that'll start to get filled up when this chest actually runs out, which is awesome. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Maybe we can make carbon a thing as well. Instead of splitting it off here, make it a logistics-based operation. But yeah, these are kind of needed for science, so yeah, they're not supposed to be logistically done, really, if they're needed for science, so I'm kind of just faffing it a bit, but anyway, that's fine. We're at the 37-minute mark. Next episode is going to be zinc, and then it's going to be brass and bronze, and both the brass and bronze are going to be made down here on this line. So anyway, I will see you guys when I see you. Stay tuned.